The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corporation.
Right. Get yourselves together. Right. Stand up and live your life. Right. Get yourselves together. Right. Hands up high.
Welcome to the Rise Above Show. I am Joe Perroni.
I'm Heidi Mancini. And this is Evelyn Mancini. Spoon Mancini.
Heidi's mom.
My mother.
All right. But first, tell everybody about
first we have to thank Marie from mealpreplasvegas.com. It's the Las Vegas Best Meal Plan.com. Originally, mealprepvegas.com. And the phone number is 702-624-9286. Give Marie a call. She will customize your meals to whatever you want. She's great.
Perfect.
So thank you, Marie, for partnering with our show. We appreciate it. And also Jay Jung from City Athletic. He also partners with the Rise Above show every week. He's the owner of City Athletic Club.
You're running the show today.
That's it. So,
Thank you
Mom,
all for coming.
thanks for coming on the show today.
So do you want me to blow your show up, or do you want me to behave?
You can do whatever you want. You can do
Okay.
whatever you want.
All right.
So how are you today?
I'm okay.
Yeah. Are you nervous?
Yeah, a little bit.
Why?
I don't know because I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, it's not often you get to do
Well,
a live show.
Yeah. See, if it was just us sitting here, that would be fine. But that screen over there, it's like
Don't look at them.
okay.
Well, I wanted to have you on the show today for a couple of reasons. One was so that I always have this on video, so I always have a memory.
Oh.
If, and the other thing was I just wanted to talk to you about your life
Oh.
and where you came
Just
from.
don't make me cry.
Well, that's what I told Joe. I said
Well, we do that to everybody.
she's probably
so-
going to cry a lot. It's going to be, but I just want to start with like your mom and your beginnings, where you came from,
Yeah.
what you can remember.
My mom was she was very happy-go-lucky, always positive.
What was her name?
Beatrice
Oh,
Lorraine.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Beatrice Lorraine.
And anyway, make a long story short, the children were all taken away from her by my father, supposedly my father, and she was in and out of Grandma's house. Everyone, she'd always say that she had a job somewhere else. But we don't know what she was doing. She could have been on the space program, But, and then my grandmother took me from an orphanage and raised me. And I love my grandpa to death.
Well, let me back it up just a second.
Okay.
Why do you think that your kids were taken away from your mother?
Oh, because my father was... I don't want to say anything bad about him either because I don't know. I was too young to recall really what he was like. But anyway, the older brothers and sisters say that he wasn't a very nice person. So he proved my mother to be unfit, only because when what they would call CPS today, it was welfare or something back then.
Right, yeah,
And
like
they
Child
came to-
Protective Services.
Yeah, and they came to the house after he reported that and found that Mom didn't have any cleaning supplies or nothing. So it's like he was the master of the house. Why didn't you, give her enough money or whatever to get that stuff? So anyway, the kids were taken away, and I talked to him. they were threatened never to speak to me, but they used to live like 2 streets behind my street. And we would sneak between the fields and see each other, you know. And my favorite was my brother Hank, but he passed away from heavy smoking, a heart attack, and too much drinking, the alcoholic beverage. And my oldest sister, she passed away with heart trouble, but she had a hard life too. So it's like we just dug up all the dirt, you know? we just lived in the dirt pile. What the heck? So then, well, when my grandmother took me between her sisters and her children, they had farms and they were in the country and that, and it was my best time. Just
In the country?
Yeah.
So why did you go? Did you go into an orphanage?
Oh, animals or whatever. You know, animals, fields, trees, plants.
Well, you're still like that. You
I
still
know,
like to be outside
I
with
know.
your doggies and your plants. But why did you go into an orphanage?
Because my mother was proven unfit, and my father got the other 4 children, and I was put in an orphanage because I can understand it now. I was too young for him to take care of me because my sister Carol is a year younger than me. So it's like I would have been, 6 months old and she was a year and a half. Having a man raise a kid, I don't know.
What's
They
wrong
can
with
do
that?
it today. Well, they can do it today, but back then I don't think men knew too much about anything.
But the thing is if she, I mean, I'm not trying to get whatever, but if she was unfit, like, how was she unfit? I mean, because
She was unfit,
to
like,
go through all that trouble to take the kids away from her and he doesn't have them anyway,
yeah.
that doesn't make sense to me. Like, okay, you fought a fight, a good fight, you pull the kids out of the home away from their biological mother, and then you go, oh, and by the way, I don't think I can handle raising 2 young babies. So
Yeah,
let's just put them in a system.
He did raise Carol.
Oh, but he
He
didn't raise
raised
you.
the 4 of them. I was the one that was sent to Hokey Pokey.
Mm.
So then, but he proved my mother being unfit because back then it didn't take much. All you had to do is go to the welfare and say, she's unfit to raise kids. You know, either the house isn't clean or no groceries, whatever. Nowadays you have to jump through hoops.
Did she?
She didn't have that stuff because he wouldn't provide it. He would rather go out and mingle with his women and his bottle of beer.
So let me see if I get this right. So your dad raised your
4.
other,
Yeah,
but left you in the orphanage.
put me in the orphanage. Yeah.
Oh, you want to hear a good
Wow.
one? Let me add to this because I know you have more to ask my mother. He lived across the street from me on Pine Street. My biological grandfather, her dad, like
He used to
could
come and visit.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
'Cause
years
he-
later I found out that they
Yeah.
lived actually kitty corner. Like, our house was here, and I could literally go this way, and he was over across the street raising his own family, and he was my biological, because we grew up not knowing
Yeah.
our grandparents.
Yeah.
Well, grandma on dad's side for a minute, but she
But
ended
that
up...
was Connie and Orv. That was his stepdaughter that he used to go visit kitty corner.
Mm.
Orv and Connie.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And they were stepchildren. He treated them better than he did his own.
How old was your mom younger than him? Your dad?
I don't think so. I don't think there was too much of a separation in age. But he was in the army, and actually he came back and said he came back for some kind of leave or whatever, and the lady at the welfare said, "Oh no, don't you believe when he says that he's not your father, you're definitely his father. He's your father."
Hmm.
Because they had all kinds of dates and proof and stuff.
Right.
But that didn't matter. It just, you know. So I was stuck in the clinker.
Stuck in the clinker.
Then my grandmother come and she got me out. My mother used to come back and forth to Grandma's house and kind of live there and not live there, and live there again, and not whatever.
Did you think your mom had some kind of mental issues or something?
No.
Because why? I mean, I don't want to get it, whatever. I'm just a little confused because she would come and go and come and go. So she wanted to see you, but yet she still wasn't involved in, even though you were taken away from her. She would just kind of come and go.
Yeah. So I don't know what her problem was.
Okay.
I
asking,
think
because as a mother, like if, and I'm not trying to be hurtful here, I'm trying to understand why she would just make a visit when she felt like it to her mother's house, who, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I put the excuse as that she was so hurt and distraught over losing her other 4 children. She knew the one was being taken care of, that it just she went kind of independent bonkers, I guess you call it. I don't know. I was too young. I was 16 when she died. She died at 45. And the time that we had together before she died was only like 6 months when she finally got me through the courts. And we didn't have mother-to-daughter talks because she was too sick to get into that. You know what I'm saying?
What about the older sisters and brothers? I mean, they don't have a take on any of that?
Yeah, Marion used to come down and help take care of Mom. But when I was 16, when she had cancer, it's not a nice sight. Because, you have the bedding you gotta change, you gotta wash her, and you gotta wash this and that. And, so for a 16-year-old still going to school, I think that was hard on me, but I didn't give it any thought at that time. I just did it.
She had to.
Yeah. You just do it.
So what does that do to your how you feel about yourself, your self-esteem, to be in an orphanage when the other kids are with your dad?
I never thought too much of that. Because I thought, well, my grandmother, she must have cared a little bit. She come and got me.
Okay.
And then I lived with my grandmother and grandfather, and my Uncle Rollin, he lived there also. Then he married the girl across the street, Aunt Mabel, and we were one big happy family. After church, they get out of church and curse like a bunch of demons. Oh my Lord. So
what is an orphanage like? Do you remember that?
No.
You don't really remember that?
No. I remember Grandma saying something because I remember being under the snowball bush and we were going to have pictures taken, and she said, you don't do that. You go in the house. So I must have twiddled my pants, or something. And she's the one that taught me about all the cleaning and...
Joe asked you about your self-esteem. So you never really thought about it?
No. Never really gave it too much of a thought. Just that I knew that my grandmother and grandfather wanted me, and I lived in this big, nice house and big yard and animals. And I can remember having a big coal bin, but you don't want to hear that stuff. But it's like I used to eat veggies out of my grandmother's garden, go out and pull up a carrot, wipe it on my pants and crunch it down, and she'd come out shaking her fists like, get out of my garden, But she didn't really mean it.
That was your mom's mom?
Yeah.
And she lived to be how old, Grandma?
78. And if we get into that, that's another story. Because back then, she had a hernia, and she used to do washing and ironing for other people with the wringer washer.
Wow.
Rinse them in tubs twice, hang them outside, But anyway, she had a hernia. Went to the doctor. They decided to do an operation on it, and they messed up the operation. Let's put it that way. I mean, it's a gruesome thing you don't want to talk about. So then she passed away. But
Did you know about any of this stuff?
No.
no,
Really? So you
No.
haven't talked about this.
no.
Is there a reason why?
I never brought the subject up, and they never
We
asked.
never asked.
Yeah.
We just,
Yeah. I mean, they shouldn't have to, but my life got to the point where I guess that was past history. You know, I'd tell them certain things that I think they'd want to know, but, you know, other than that, why go into the gruesome?
Right.
the gruesome, the nitty gritty.
So
Yeah.
when you were growing up, how is it for you to trust people?
I was a loner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was kids around the neighborhood, and they were playing in, you know, their yard and in the driveway, and I would just stay in my own yard and do whatever I had to do, and dig in the dirt and climbing trees, and you know, I had a longtime friend, Andrea, and we had pictures of when we first started kindergarten. And she's always been my friend.
Still
She comes in
friends,
town. Yeah, she's a snowbird. Yeah, but other than that, and we used to go over to her house, you know, like 3 times a week, whatever, and have her mother make us a salad with Italian dressing, because my family was German,
Yeah.
and they knew nothing about it, that spicy
Italian stuff.
lip chicken stuff, you know, and it's like I used to go over there 3 times a week and just for a salad.
Drink the salad dressing.
Oh yeah, yeah, no,
The
that was,
vinegar and the oil.
yeah, that was fantastic. So, and then Uncle Ron and Aunt Mabel, they didn't get married till they were about 30, 35, something like that. And it's like, me being a teenager, I thought, when she became pregnant with Rao, I thought, she's an old lady. How's she going to have a kid? You know, and that was the end of that thought. So
Yeah.
I wasn't too, I didn't think too much of anything. You know, it's like, here today, gone tomorrow. So, but they lived there, and it's like, they would go for a Sunday afternoon ride, and it would go to one of my aunt's house, and that was fine. Well, when they would say that they're going to Aunt Emma's, I used to go, I'm not going there. Because Aunt Emma, Uncle Van, I didn't like him. He was too quiet, and he was always out in the field. Then he was in with his pigs. He had nasty pigs. They'd eat you up.
Pigs will eat each other. That's why pigs are disgusting.
Yeah.
They're cannibalists. In case you didn't know that, they'll eat each other. If one dies in the pen or it's
Yeah,
sick, they'll
yeah.
eat it.
Oh, I didn't know
They're
that.
not discriminatory. They'll eat their own.
So,
But one of the things, well, I want to ask you, how do you think being in that kind of environment, not having a mom, how do you think it did affect you at all raising your own kids?
yeah, because I really didn't have anybody to fall back on. I had nobody to help me with my kids. No aunts or uncles, because they couldn't stand your father. So that was the end of that.
Why?
Because he was Italian.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
You know, that's
You
that
gotta
thought
be-
back
yeah.
then. Come on. And, but I didn't have any answer. Actually, even my sister, my oldest sister, actually, when I was married to your father, I don't think my sisters even come to see me. Or my brothers.
I don't remember
No.
seeing anybody.
Carol come to see us once, and she didn't last too long because of her mouth. So she was out the door with an unwelcome sign behind her. But I don't know. I didn't have anybody to lean on or whatever. It was all on me and your dad.
So were you frustrated with 4 kids? Because you were 26, right, by the time you had all of us?
Yeah, I used to have my go in the bathroom and almost explode, but and you because the thing is, I can't understand how, I don't care how young they are, how a parent can beat or misuse their children the way I've seen, or on TV or heard or whatever. And it's like, yeah, you kids got a good whipping every once in a while, but you didn't turn out bad because of it.
Well, I asked you a question a couple weeks ago. I said, what do you think is wrong with the kids today? And your response to me was,
they need a good slap outside that.
They didn't get abused like you guys did. And I cracked up because you just said it so now. Which was...
They didn't get abused like you did. Oh, well. So, anyway.
So do you want to answer?
Yeah.
So I didn't.
How did you meet Heidi's dad?
I don't think I want to answer
Yes,
that.
you do. Yes, you do. This blows the theory of
at the Olive Garden.
abstinence before marriage.
Yeah.
It's,
Abstinence.
no, abstinence is
She was
blows the
drinking the
abstinence theory before marriage.
No, I was.
Or what is it? That's not the word.
Abstinence.
Abstinence. What's abstinence?
It's
Not doing
something
it.
It's a something.
Yeah.
something. Oh, obstinate means you're being stubborn.
right.
Abstinence means no.
Well, I
no.
think I was being
That would be the
obstinate.
no welcome sign. That would be the no welcome sign.
Well, I was being obstinate.
Show the story, because you tell it. I don't think I've told you the story, have I?
If I knew it, I wouldn't have asked.
Okay, so I worked at dry cleaners when I was 18, and just to get away from, because I lived with my aunt and uncle. And that's another thing. I was put in a girls' home because my mother passed away, my grandmother passed away a year later, and nobody wanted me. So I was put in a girls' home, and a Catholic.
Go back a second. I can't let that go by. I mean, come on. What do you mean nobody wanted you?
Nobody stepped up and wanted to take me in. You're gonna make me cry now. Yeah, but when Aunt Mabel got pregnant for Rao, all of a sudden, Uncle Roland and Aunt Mabel wanted me, and it wasn't until later years that I thought about it, and they needed a babysitter.
Wow.
So, and then what pushed me into your father's life was I feel like a fool.
You haven't talked
Why?
about
Because
this.
you got pushed into Dad's life?
Yeah.
But that's a good question. Why?
Why what?
Why do you feel like a fool?
Well, because I'm airing my laundry.
You're marrying your laundry.
I'm airing.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's okay. You can air out your laundry. But we haven't heard about how you met Dad.
Okay.
Let me go back a second.
Okay.
Because this is so prevalent in people that are not treated well. That you feel hurt by it. And it's okay. I mean, obviously, like any human being would feel hurt by this. I'm hurt listening to it. But you have to know you came into this world perfect. It's the people around you that somehow were very clumsy with life, that didn't know how to do the right things at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
So none of this is a reflection on you. You know, you were never bad. You were never, unworthy of love. None of those things are true.
But I'm the one that's got to bear the cross for it.
Unfortunately, yeah, that is true.
So you go on and you do the best you can, and you don't try to think about that stuff, and you try to raise your children and live your life in a good way.
So you rose
And
above all that.
And because of my upbringing, and I'm going to answer another question for you.
That
Because
sounded
of-
like I'm in trouble.
It was a
Something.
threat.
That was a threat.
The reason, and it's not until my later years when I know how much you've been hurt that I haven't been able to hold my children after they reached a certain age. When they were babies, I was constantly loving and kissing and everything. But as you got older, I just kind of didn't. And I think it's because of what happened to me.
Of course, yeah.
See, I made you cry.
Well, because the point of the conversation, Mom, too, is to help, our listeners that listen to this show. Everything comes from someplace,
Yeah.
behaviors. When people depend on drugs and alcohol and all these other things to cope, sex, everybody has some vice.
Yeah.
It does come from someplace else. And what you had said earlier was you just put it behind you, you forget about it, but there's no but to it. You forget about it, and you think that you're going through your life and you're not thinking about it, but it is there all the time, because when you're going through life and maybe you have attachment issues because whoever you were supposed to bond with, you didn't have a strong bond with anybody when you were little. So then it takes in trust. You don't really trust anybody because somebody's going to screw you over again. So it does kind of, in a way, it filters over into your whole life in some degree, with relationships with other people, with lovers, with your children.
Yeah.
So the point I'm trying to make right now is that this, you're on the show too because of that reason, to try to help other people. That you don't forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's good to talk about it, to bring, some people say don't live in the past. No, you don't live in the past. You talk to people that have a little bit of empathy, and it helps you get it off your chest and recognize really what you went through.
Absolutely
It slaps you in the face, and it's like, I don't know, my attitude is like, deal with it. You deal with it the best you can.
But you've had so many years in your life where you weren't allowed to have feelings, right? Like, I mean, if you look back, it's like it wouldn't have helped you because you had nobody to talk to, nobody to confide in, and so you developed this really strong thing of, okay, I'm just going to move on.
Yeah.
And so you built up this wall, and you needed.
And
that
some
wall.
people call it independence.
Yeah.
It's not. It's
true, isn't it?
it's avoidance.
That's true.
It's avoidance.
And it's helped you through a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Until, the marriage. And then
Yeah.
you see it coming up again with kids.
Yeah.
And, by the way, you're really brave to come on here because, because I'm not going to, we don't let anything go. But listen, you are helping, I hope yourself, and Heidi, but there's so many people that I think are so into just themselves. They're very narcissistic, right? It's all about my hurt, and I don't think past myself. So what I'm saying is that there's a lot of kids, and they get older, and they have these problems.
Yeah.
And they want to blame the parent. And it's like their fault. But they never take the time to really know their parent, to understand how much hurt or what the parent has had to go through.
Yeah.
In the beginning, because there's no manual.
Yeah.
Like you have a child and there's the manual. What do I do? Okay, I'm going to be a perfect parent.
Yeah.
And, like what you're describing is unbelievable. Like you never saw a good relationship. You didn't see a mother and father. You didn't see people in a loving situation. You didn't have the appropriate attachment. You didn't have emotional connection. You didn't have an unstressed
Well, we'd have family reunions, and it's like it was in Grandma's backyard, and it was just like, to me, it was a group of people. I mean,
Just people.
they were supposed to be cousins, aunts, uncles, whatever, but they were like just groups of people that they were invited.
So there was no.
But I got to sip my grandmother's foam off her beer.
I can't believe she drank beer.
I didn't. I sipped
You
the
sipped
foam.
the foam.
So, but think about that though, right? Like if everybody would, you acknowledge their situation, but then go back and say, what did my parents go through?
Yeah.
You know, and stop expecting parents to be gods, and stop blaming their life on their parent. Right? And if I'm allowed, I mean, we're talking about everything today, so I might as well say it. Like Heidi will come up with things, and we've had these talks. And I would say, knowing what I know through a lot of studying, I'd go back a little bit. You have no idea what your mother's been through. And parents that I know, their children are the greatest thing that they've ever put into this world. And you do the best you can, and you hide all of these horrible things from your kid. And they think you're God, and they have no idea the stuff and the things that you have had to walk through to give them the best life you could.
Yeah.
And it's like, even though you know all this, you still hold it back because you don't want to put it on your children.
Yeah.
You know, and that's an amazing thing too. Like, I do all this lifting of weights and stuff. Listen, you're 20 times stronger than I'll ever be. Because if it was me and I saw my kid acting out, the first thing I would think is, oh, by the way, let me tell you, at least I'm here. I was from an orphanage.
But
You know,
one of the things that
like
you
I would
learn,
burst out and say
like,
that.
as you get older and you have your own children and you have your own relationships and you have your own experiences, what's happened to me, and I can be thankful now that in my past, aunts had said mean things to me about my mother or gave me information about your life, but it was done in a malice way. It was done to be vindictive and hurtful. And so I knew things, but I never said anything either.
Yeah.
Because it would be hurtful, it'd be whatever it was. But as I got older, and especially after when I had Ava, for me that was one of the best times in my life. Like I remember having her. The whole experience was amazing, and to this day, I mean, I would kill for that kid. Like I don't care what she does. I mean, she's my child. Yes, she makes bad decisions and whatever at times, but she's my baby. And when you go through things like that and you start looking at things, and I was in a situation in the marriage I was in, and Ava's come and said things to me, but she goes, Mom, I know that you did what you could do, and it's taken me years of maturity, being in a relationship, seeing how people love, they don't love, having a baby of my own, and realizing that I always try to do the best for her. And I didn't tell Ava a lot of things about me either. Like, I mean, it's just something you don't... I'm not going to give her all the dirt that went on in my past or my life. I mean, I disclosed a little to her.
Yeah.
But it's like Joe said, you just go on, like even her father, I won't say bad things about her father to her. It's like, you know what? You figure it out. I'm not going to
Okay. Did I ever say anything bad about your father to you?
No. So you hold on to all this, and then you experience yourself, and you go, this is an awful thing, because it's like you feel like you have to be the one to take the high road, which Joe always uses that word, and you watch this other, I don't know what you want to call it, cyclone going on around you, and you're trying to protect your kids, and you're also trying to do what you can do.
Yeah. And
I said to him before, I said, listen, if I had Ava at 30 years old, and I thought I knew it all because I was older, I'd help raise, Amanda and Christina and the younger ones. And you don't really know anything when you're a mom. You do the best you can with the circumstances. I look back now and I think, oh, if I would have handled that differently, if I would have not made it about me as far as what was going on with her dad, and just was present. I guess that's the only word I could say. I wasn't as present as I should have been all the time when I was raising Ava.
Yeah.
But I became aware of your situation, and I said to Joe, I don't know how I would be as a person if I had the life my mom had. How nurturing would I be? Because that was one thing when Ava left, one of the things that really hurt me a lot was I spent all of her young years loving on her, kissing her, even into her, middle school years, where it was always I showed her a lot of affection, and that was because of me, but it was also because of John. He was not emotionally there, so I felt like I had to do the job of a father and a mother with the affection. But I also, in my opinion, I didn't have a lot of nurturing when I was growing up. I didn't feel a lot of love and a lot of, and this is not to hurt you, by the way. This is just because I'm over it. Whatever. But being a mother myself, I said, when I have my baby, I want to make sure that she always knows,
the touch.
Even when she's not behaving, I still love her. And I used to tell her that I love you. I don't like your behavior right now, but I still love you. And I'd always made sure that she felt me.
Yeah.
And what's ironic is that Ava has a tendency to be a lot like her father, that when I go to touch her, she moves away, or I get the forehead. Kiss the forehead.
I remember the forehead.
What the fuck is the forehead? I said to her, I am not kissing your forehead. Give me a hug. So ironically, but that's another day for a show, genetics come into play, right?
Yeah.
So here I am, lovey, and I got a kid that has a lot of her
like
genetics.
I tell Ava, give me a hug, and she
it's like, how did that happen?
Headbutt me. It's like,
so but my point is, when you think about all of this, right, when you start breaking it down, you go, would it have made that much of a difference? When and this is going back to when we blame our parents, would it have made that much of a difference in my life today if I would have had the situation with you the way I wanted, ideally, a mother-daughter when I was little? Would it have made that much of a difference in who I am today?
No, because Ava's an altogether different person.
But what I'm saying is, because then I took that and I said, because I didn't feel I had that, I'm going to make sure this child has that. Guess what? In the end, it didn't make that much of a difference, because she still did whatever the universe or whatever she was supposed to do, and she's still like that. I mean, it's hard for her to hug me, to kiss me. I mean, I'm like, come on, you're the same way. Put your arms around me. Like, can I get somebody in this world to give me a freaking hug? Like a nice, I mean, seriously. So I do it. I do it to everybody I can, because I'm a touchy-feely.
Yeah.
So I guess my point I got off of was that for a lot of years, me personally, I always felt like you didn't like me, and I was like, I don't know what I did or I didn't do. But as I got older and I had my own kid, I realized it wasn't anything I did or didn't do. It was, you did the best you could do under the situation. And honestly, I would have never been able to handle 4 kids under the age of 26 with no help, because I had all I could do with one kid.
Yeah. So you asked me a question, how I met your father.
Yes, we want to know that. This is nasty, this story.
John,
I could have gotten away with it.
This is a nasty story.
No? Okay, cool. Let's get to it.
I could have gotten away with that one.
You're not, because
I
it's
could have
funny. I want
snuck
you to
right
hear
under
this.
the table.
We're getting back to
This
it.
is-
Right out the door.
I got the notes right here.
Just keep the notes.
Well, I worked at a dry cleaners. I was 18. And I used to, just to get away from Aunt Mabel and Corral and the screaming kids, I would walk down, do you remember Lockport Plaza? I would walk down that big hill, and I would just sit there. And at that time, I didn't smoke. So it's not to sneak away and get a smoke or anything. I just sit there on the goat, I guess they call it a goat path. I don't know.
Go path.
Goat.
Oh, goat.
Goat.
Goat path. Okay.
That's where you used to herd the goats
Okay.
on that hill before they built it up.
Okay.
So I saw this white Chevy, 58 Chevy go by. Boy, is that cute. Ooh. Okay. I kept watching it. I think it was about 2 weeks later or something like that, because every time I went down there, this car was going into Lane's drugstore.
Okay, yeah, he's thinking of cigarettes probably.
And he had the mud flaps, he had the fender skirts. It was white, it was pristine.
Clean.
It was really, all the chrome the 58s used to have. Oh, God, that car was... And I
I'm
thought,
seeing the knight in shining armor here. That's
wow,
was a
yeah,
famous
I know.
In a Chevy, a 57 Chevy.
So anyway, I thought, well, okay. So I started home, and all of a sudden, the car comes up the street, and I went, oh, what am I going to do? Evidently, he saw me sitting on that hill.
For a couple days, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got up and I started walking home, and the car goes by. Whew. So I kind of go a little bit faster home, and I get right in front of the house, and he's coming around the other way, because it was like a street that went this way and then it turned and came around. And he turned around and he says, he introduced himself, and I said, well, I'm on my way home. Okay. Well, would you like to go for a cup of coffee first?
Oh my God, the coffee.
The pickup line of the century. But me being so stupid and naive, you know. So anyway.
Listen, if it wasn't for that cup of coffee, you wouldn't be here
Yeah,
right now.
see. Cup of coffee and 2 sugars later.
Oh, that's all it took.
Wow, how much did that cost?
So.
Oh my God, 2 sugars later.
Yeah.
Gotta remember that.
Oh my God.
So, went for coffee. He dropped me off at the house. Uncle Roland, he's standing there. You know, with that lower lip that stuck out. And he says, and where have you been? And who were you with? And who is that? And where do they live? I thought, one question at a time. I'm thinking in my brain. But I was never disrespectful to adults. So I said, oh, that was just a friend. We just went for coffee.
2 sugars
And 2
later.
sugars.
Yeah, I didn't tell him about 2 sugars. And so I gave him my telephone number, and I told my uncle, I says, I gave him the telephone number, and he's going to call me a couple nights or something. I don't know, to go somewhere or whatever. And Uncle Ron says, I thought he was just a friend. I just turned around and walked in the house. So anyway, he called me, and when he had called me, he called me from the base out there on Shawnee. And we just got talking, and we talked for about 2 weeks, just jacking on the phone.
That seems to be a common theme.
And then he
Back then they talked a
Yeah.
long
Yeah,
time
yeah.
before. Yeah.
and then he says, well, you know, in the conversation, he found out that I worked at Camerata's dry cleaners, and he stopped by there one day. Oh my God, I was so I almost died. Oh my God, I almost died. I thought, oh, I'm in trouble now. So anyway, that's how we got together. But Aunt Rachel loved the death out of him. She just loved him. Here comes my Bobby. It's like, and you know what? She was the only one in my life as a child that actually grabbed me, pulled me to her, and gave me a hug in my life. She's my favorite aunt.
That
Yeah.
answers some questions for you right there.
Well, I'm a cheap date too, apparently, because you invited me for coffee.
2 sugars? No.
But I never drank sugar in my coffee, though. It was only coffee.
I got
We would meet for coffee all the time.
I got out even cheaper.
You got out even cheaper. There wasn't even any sugar with it.
See?
So Heidi was the first
Born.
born.
Yep.
Tell me about that. What was it like being a mom? Like that first second, like, okay, here I go. Like,
I'm excited.
I don't even. Oh, yes, I do. Here I am, big belly, pregnant, right? And I'm just going, whatever, it's happening, I guess. And we moved down on Coal Springs Road, it's way off the main road, right? But it was a nice place. And I had a cat there, naturally. Well, the telephone guy came and ran the cat over.
Oh, shit.
Skin the skin right off his foot. I went over to
I didn't know we were going.
I didn't know we were going that direction.
So I go to the phone and I call your father at the base. And I said, you got to come home right now. The cat got run over. And, you know, your father, knowing his personality, it's like, oh, Jesus. You know? But he was home in about 5 minutes. I guess he figured my condition, he better do something, you know? So he came and we took the cat to the vet, and I come to find out the electric company or the telephone company, whoever ran her over, ended up paying for it. And they, you know, stretched the skin out and fixed her, and she was fine. But that was your father was having a nervous breakdown and wondering what was going to happen to me because my poor cat got hurt. Oh God! So that was kind of nice, but we had that great big Market Street hill that we had to walk up if you had to go to the store. Here I am, Big Billy. We're gonna go to the store. Yeah. I get to the first crook in the road. I said, don't think I'm gonna go that far. So I call him again.
Oh my God.
I said,
you beat my ass.
Bob, can you come home now and bring some coffee?
With 2 sugars.
He says, you know, I can't leave right now. He says, but I'll leave in a few minutes, and I'll be there probably in the next half hour. 2 hours later. Well, anyway, so he took me to the hospital, and I can't remember how long it took him to leave, but he didn't stick around long. He wasn't around for any of the kids.
I think that's the way it was back then, though. That's
for his son.
Oh.
He knew it was a boy. The neighbors had told him it's a boy. He was home putting garbage out. He had to put garbage out. So here I am, moaning and groaning in the hospital all by myself. It's like,
Here we go again.
you
All
think
by myself.
Yeah.
All by myself. These
yeah,
fucking losers.
you would have thought I woke up by the second child, wouldn't you? Oh yeah.
Oh my God. But you want to hear a good one? When I was pregnant with Ava, this should make you happy. He said that. He goes, I never ever seen any of you kids born. He goes, and I'm going to go with you. I want to see this grandbaby.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, so he was there when I had my ultrasound done, and they do all that, and he was sitting there and he was talking to the tech, and he's like, this is amazing. He goes, I had no idea they could do all this. And it's like, Dad, they just came out with this. They didn't do it when we were kids, but if you would have been present, you would have known that.
I probably would have passed out.
I think he would have. I think Dad was a softy when it came to that kind of stuff.
So when you held Heidi, though, for the first time, were you scared?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
mine. All these little toes, fingers. I can remember putting her so tight, and then the nurse came in and wanted to take her, and I said, no, I'll keep her here. She says, ma'am, she's got to go in the nursery. When's she coming back? I almost got out of bed and beat that living daylights out of that nurse.
What's the hardest thing about being a mom?
Is he going to make me cry again? Seeing them go through a rough time in life and seeing them hurt. Because I never wanted any harm or any hurt to come to them. But that's life.
What's the best part?
Is having them all here. I kid around, but I say I came out here to Las Vegas and I stayed with my youngest daughter, Tammy, for a while. And I'll be a son of a gun, they all follow me here. I said I got out here to get away from them, and they're all here. So,
So, what makes Heidi special? Tell me how proud you are of her.
she's come a long way in the last couple of years. When she was with John, and I'm sure she told you, I went over one day and I said, Heidi, your arms are getting fat. And I guess the light bulb went on, and she went on to exercising and going in the gym and stop smoking and eating right. And she's been on her way ever since. Yeah, and I'm proud of her. And my daughter Tammy, I'm proud of her. My son, I'm going to beat the hell out of him. Felicia, she's finally come her way, and I think she's going to be all right. I was kind of worried about her, but I think some people might say Felicia's my favorite. She's not my favorite. I don't have any favorites in my children, but I try not to anyway. But Felicia always, she needed what I needed when I was. I guess I recognize that.
That's great. Interesting.
She needed attention. She needed the love when she got it, and she needed to be corrected, and she needed to be beat up. And
I'll let you take over the end here. I don't want to ask all the questions. It's your mom.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm glad you came on the show. I'm glad we're close.
yeah,
And I'm proud
me
of you, too.
I hope you stay close.
We do, but I'm proud of you too, Mom, because you've been through a lot in your life, and you're a tough lady.
That's not what you were going to say.
No, I was going to say that I spent a lot of time, I have to say, like some girls would say with their mothers, there's always, I don't know if it's a competition or what it is, but there's a part where girls do not get along with their mothers. They don't always like their mothers. And then you could come to a point in your life where you can look at your mom and go, you know what, I understand.
Yeah. And it's what it is. Stop, look, and listen.
Yeah, it's about the one word, I understand. That's all you got to say.
Yeah.
You finally get to that point where you go, I get it.
Yeah.
And the rest of it doesn't, it kind of goes
Yeah,
under.
bye-bye now.
That's all I have to say.
Which, some people can let it go bye-bye because they just let it go bye-bye. That's life. But there are some people that say they need to know why. There's always that question, why.
Be able to find happiness now?
Yeah.
After all that rough beginning?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm happy with my all my little fuzzy friends.
How many dogs do you have?
3.
3.
Yeah. Sandy, Lucy, which is a Chihuahua,
That's
and
what
then
Kobe wants to eat.
Sparky.
All right then. Well, thanks for coming
Thanks
on the
for
show
coming on.
and being all. That was took a lot of bravery. Yeah.
I guess I really didn't know what I was going to talk about at first, and I thought
Well, we just
you
did
drew,
one. We
you
just
drew
did
it
this-
out of me.
What was it
You
called?
put me in a
when you don't have a
closet.
lot of stuff. What's that word called, John? We were just doing improv.
Improv.
Lazy. No. Spontaneous. Impromptu.
Impromptu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching the Rise Above show. I am Joe Perroni
Heidi Mancini.
and
Evelyn Mancini.
Yeah.